After the addition of Soto, I wasn't sure if they'd get multiple. I wanted more. That would be my top priority. They did that yesterday, getting Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley, to me, giving up nothing to do so.
Mets are cooking right now, man, and I don't think that they're done. I'm basically convinced you guys are getting a center fielder. I would be stunned if you don't. I think something else is coming. Now, listen, the situation with Holmes, does he go to the bullpen? They're not hitting right now. There are some Met issues but then again, a lot of teams have issues right now because nobody's a perfect team. Massive move by the Mets. And what I like about this, now they're very righty-laden, okay? But
what are you talking about, with the pen?
Yeah, with the bullpen.
Well,
outside of Soto, and I know Raley coming back. Yeah. I get that, but you look at do you consider Raley a high leverage guy? Okay, so you do.
And by the way, even if you're not considering him like on the level of Diaz, Rogers, or Helsley,
which I don't think that they are.
Okay, fair enough. But you have Soto and Raley as your top two.
No question,
dude. They got 5, and that pushes down Stanek and Garrett. That's 7 arms in the pen.
It went from a massive weakness to what I think is going to be a massive plus. No, I mean what Stearns did yesterday was phenomenal. I'm not here to say that it wasn't. What I was going to say though, why even though they do have the 2 lefties, and we know that. But even their righties are very different. Like you've got one guy coming down, basically scraping his knuckles on the mound, and then you got the other guy, Helsley, coming in, throwing 99.7 on the average. Now, his fastballs, actually, I didn't realize this. We know he throws gas. They've hit his fastball this year. His best pitch is his slider, and I guess opponents hitting like 070 against the slider. But I point that out because you've got so many different variations now. Soto coming out, throwing cheese as a lefty, sometimes a little wild, but throwing absolute cheese. We know what Diaz is, and now the additions just makes this team incredibly dangerous. Now the Phillies punch back. Yep. They got somebody who I believe is better, but the Mets' strength in numbers is undeniable, and it's been 40 years since the Mets won a World Series. This is what you do when you are taking the massive swing. Don't stop now.
One quick thing about the Phillies, they needed a closer. The Mets didn't.
Yeah, I get that part. That's true.
Phillies needed a power. They needed a closer. They got one in Duran, and you could say that he might be better. He's not better than Diaz, and even if he is, the Mets now have Diaz, Helsley, who's a top closer himself, who's going to be the 8th inning guy or whenever they need him, and Rogers, one of the more reliable, consistent, good bullpen arms.
It's been great this year, Rogers. Phenomenal.
The one thing the Mets needed to do, if it was, I know we want other moves in the bat and center field, and all, they had to upgrade their bullpen, and they did that in a major way. Now their bullpen is ready for the postseason. Does it mean they're going to win the World Series? No. Who the hell knows? Things will happen. But what it means is you cannot now question the Mets about what they did to fortify their bullpen going into the postseason. And their work should not be done, and I don't believe it is done. Martino just saying a little while ago on Twitter that the Mets are still after a center fielder. Now, there are different ways that they could go here. I don't know what the Rays are going to do. It sounds like reports are that the Rays are still conflicted, whether they're going to buy or sell. If Brandon Lowe is available. Remember, the Mets gave all the... yesterday, can I tell you something? So I found out about the Tyler Rogers thing. I get home, had no SNY yesterday because the Mets 4 o'clock. So, I'm whatever, going home with the wife and kid. So I'm checking social media, and I see the trade not in real time. And the first things that I see are, the Mets gave up a haul for Rogers.
Talking about for Rogers.
And I didn't see what they had given up. I just saw that they got Rogers.
What, you think of like Mauricio or something?
Yeah.
You think of one of the... I got you.
When I see Hall, my first thought was, what? Acuna or Vientos for a reliever? And then I go back and look at the names, and I'm like...
Whatever.
Guys, come back to me here. That's not a hole. You prospect huggers need to get over it. Are you trying to win now? Or are you trying to build a good farm system? Gilbert, see ya. Budo, see ya. Tidwell, see ya. They gave up one prospect in Gilbert, who I don't even know what he's going to be. Who cares what scouts say? I don't care. You got to give up something to get something. So even if you give up a good prospect to get a good reliever in a win now, you go for it. And otherwise, 2 useless pieces to them now. Yeah. Budo and Tidwell are going to do nothing for him. A hole? That's a hole? Come on.
Even Baez with the Helsley trade. Now, he's the one guy. He's number 5 or number 6 on their top 10 prospect list. But this is this is the cost of business.
Well, I don't understand what you want to do. You want to win a World Series?
Well, Met fans aren't complaining. Maybe the way it was framed in a hole, but the Met fans that I've heard from and what I've read, Met fans are absolutely ecstatic now.
I've seen report Passan, Martino, DeComo, Duquette. Mets gave up a lot. Mets gave up a hole. I'm sure some people, fans as well. I didn't read everything, but I'm seeing that. I'm like, what? You want to win or what? Say, whoever they want, take them. Get them. Baez, whatever. Yeah, maybe he has some tools. This is not about Pete Crow Armstrong and that trade. This is different because you can make different arguments about that. A center fielder, were they really worth it of going all in? This team is worthy of going all in.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's a price of doing business, like you said.
I don't understand what, like, you have to understand. It's one thing to understand it, but from a fan's perspective, you got to embrace the timeline. And there are times to go all in, and the Mets are 95%, like, you got to get the extra stick, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But and you've got to know when not to go in. There's a time where it's just too cavalier and you try to speed things up, and it's the wrong time to do it. And there are times when it matches perfectly. And why I've been so pro bat, for the Mets, and of course I knew the bullpen help was coming. That was a given. But the reason I've been talking about the addition of a bat for a while is look around the team. Again, these are things that we know, but this is the day to reiterate it. You don't know if Pete Alonso's back next year. Now, right now, you might not care as much because he's in one of the ugliest funks that you can be in. But Pete is a good player. Pete Alonso might leave. Lindor's not a kid. Nimmo's not a kid. Diaz's contract, not a kid. Manaea's contract, not a kid. Like, this is the time to swing. Now, you could also go out and bring back Jesse Orosco and Roger McDowell. Yeah. If the offense doesn't start hitting a little bit, it's not going to matter as much. But in terms of Stearns doing his job and putting this team in a position to win, I mean, if you're a Met fan and you're not loving this, then you're lost. You just don't know what the score is here. What are you talking about?
And that's the story today. I don't care about the sweep with the Padres. The results right now, like, obviously you want to win as many games as possible. They're still in first place, so Phillies lost to the White Sox. Like, don't worry about the sweep. You can get into that, and there'll be a different layer of conversation. Okay, now is Pete, Soto, Lindor, Nimmo, they're going to put on their big boy pants in the postseason. But the Mets had to go out there and be aggressive and put together a bullpen that was World Series caliber. They have now done that. Not to mention, BT, let's not forget, a lot of these prospects that people are upset and saying, Stearns didn't bring these guys in.
Yep.
This is a new regime.
That's a good point.
He's trimming the fat, cleaning it up. He's been evaluating this system since he's been here for now a year and a half, almost 2 years. So if you have to trust the new president to figure out what he wants, what he doesn't. And that's why I definitely think, to forward it now, there is more to come, whether it is Vientos or Acuna. These are also guys he did not bring in. I'm not saying he's trying to push them out, but when he's trying to build a World Series caliber team, parting with certain players is also, like, they've got too many infielders. So they still haven't fixed the McNeil, Beatty, Acuna, Mauricio, Vientos. Like, they still haven't fixed that issue. Maybe they don't need to, but maybe they do. Maybe they could get Brandon Lowe if the Rays decide to sell. That would be my priority. If you ask me, okay, what else do you want? And they're still in on a center fielder, whether it's Robert, whether it's Mullins. Those have been the two that I've talked about. Mm-hmm. And I've gone back and forth, like, it was Mullins, But if it's Brandon Lowe, who is a better bat, I was going to say I think, but it's not even I think. He is a better bat than both Robert or Mullins. If you could get the better bat and put him at second, whatever you have to give to get him, Vientos, Acuna, McNeil, whatever, and then go get Mullins for cheap.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be. Well, dude, Mullins is not going to cost you anything.
Nothing. He's a free agent.
Yeah, so you're like prospect-wise, financially, nothing. Lau's going to be the big one. So if you're going to give up and clean up some of those pieces, you get the big bat in Lau, make the pieces fit better, and then go get the additional center fielder, as opposed to giving up more for Robert, who's not even, maybe as good. We don't know what he is yet outside of the potential he has.
There's also a few other things here. So, what you just said about Stearns not having drafted these players, most of them, that's a very important piece of the puzzle here. You talk about whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's food, whatever it might be. I mean, there is an element of subjectivity. Now, there's also statistical data that can reinforce from a sports perspective what you're watching, or just to kind of frame things a certain way. But talent evaluation is really the height of subjectivity. What I might view is, like, think about what we talk about with the Yankees, whether it's Dominguez or Spencer Jones. We'll get to the Yankees in a bit. You and I disagree on some of that stuff because it's subjective. Now, we also disagree on some of the things with the Mets here, not in terms of what they brought in, but Stearns is looking at his entire crop of minor leaguers, and he's like, all right, I didn't draft this guy. His skill that somebody else valued is not quite what I placed the emphasis on. So I think that that's incredibly important, so I'm happy you bring that up. The other thing, too, is the imminent work stoppage that is staring us all down the barrel of the sport. So, again, I'm talking about Pete next year and the other elements of why the Mets have to go for it now, and they are so far. It's impressive. But also, in the year 2027, Lindor's 2 years older. Diaz probably gone. I mean, it's just Nimmo older and just not the same player. So it's not only about going for it in 2025. It's got to be an eye for this work stoppage, which is indisputably coming in 2 years. You take your biggest swing. They're 90% there. I don't think they're done. I think they go nuts today as well. And I think Met fans right now, you got to be pumped, obviously.
Love it. BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody will get to the Yankees, obviously a ton there, not just from the game last night, but also their inactivity, what they need to do, what they're going to be doing here, who they want to par with, who they're looking to get. One more thing on the Mets. It's rare that as a fan, you're in alignment with your organization, right? You want it to be the case. Like you have your beliefs about your Yankees or Jets, whatever it may be, whatever team we root for. Sure. And I had my thought on what I would want the Mets to do and just certain philosophies and beliefs. One thing that I've always believed in is building a bullpen is easier in season. You never know with these guys. By the way, you don't even know now. Like Rogers all of a sudden could fall apart. Who knows? They come to New York, maybe they can't handle it. You have no idea.
Yep.
Bullpens are so fickle.
Look at Devin Williams.
Exactly right. But, which is a whole nother issue, by the way.
We'll get to them.
But when you're going to build a bullpen, as opposed to loading it up in offseason and free agency, I would much rather build everything else, figure out the bullpen, see how it plays out during the year, and then see what's available at the deadline. I love everything about this. Obviously, there's more to go here, and it doesn't guarantee anything. Doesn't guarantee a division, doesn't guarantee a World Series berth, it doesn't guarantee anything. Not even a playoff berth, as a matter of fact. Thought the Mets are going to get there anyway, but these moves guarantee nothing other than that you could finally, as a fan, sit back when it's all said and done and say, I know unquestionably Steve Cohen, David Stearns, the Mets organization has done everything they could to put this team in a position to go win a World Series, and that is everything you could ask for as a fan.
It is. This is what Met fans have been screaming about forever, calling up this station forever. Hey, let's do this, let's do that, get this guy, hire this guy, fire this guy. I mean, it's really basically been, I know there's been a couple of good years, obviously, in the 40-year drought, but for the most part, it's been a checklist of complaints. Whether you voice it to us or Mike and Chris or whomever, I mean, it has been a tough road for the Met fan. Now, there's no assurance that this results in a World Series. I get that. But the more that you line up the assets here, the more that you go for it, the bigger swing you take, it just increases the odds. And the volatility of the bullpen, building it in season, I like that thought because I don't know, maybe outside of kickers, especially our kickers with these teams, but like the bullpen arms, and I don't mean the closers, the Marianos, the Eckersleys, the Bruce Sutters, even Orozco, for a couple of years, guys like that. The middle arms, the setup, but the high leverage guys, they're a dime a dozen, and you just don't know which way is which. So as we get to these calls here, understand that the players, and even Helsley had a couple of blown saves, whatever. But if you do build it in December and January, you don't know who you're getting. At least now you know the guys you're bringing in are, one, healthy, and number two, in the midst of really good runs, which should set you up for, a lot. The Mets bullpen has a chance to be phenomenal.
BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. Matt is calling from East Rockaway. What's up, Matt?
Gentlemen, how we doing? Sally, baby, we're going for it,
There you go, Matty! Yes, finally!
Hey, Sal, I got a question for you. Now that we have the bullpen, at this point, you would think David and Steve Cohen, they're pretty much going for it. They're putting all their marbles out there. Why don't, if they want Quan, right? Why don't we give whoever they want, and we get Ramirez too? Vientos, Beatty, Mauricio, give them all.
Matt, this is where the first call.
Come back to earth, Matty. Jeez.
Come on.
I get it. You're intoxicated by the possibilities, but so you're going to get Quan and Ramirez.
I thought I was asking a lot for Lowe and Cedric Mullins, which I do think is realistic. The Guardians, the reports were yesterday they were looking to actively trade Quan and Bieber, and it sounds like Bieber, I don't know if it's official yet, sounds like Bieber would be going to the Blue Jays,
Toronto,
in fact.
Yep.
So we don't know about Quan yet. they're likely not trading Ramirez. I don't want to say never, but it doesn't seem like they're going to trade
He's
Ramirez.
not getting dealt this
and
time.
even if he were, you don't have what it takes to get Kwan and Ramirez. Like,
you actually might, but I think that would be almost too reckless. You get the Sproats, you dip into the top relievers. I mean, there's a way to do it.
Dude, you'd have to give up Mauricio, Vientos, Acuna, Sproat.
But you would do it for that, right? Kwan and Ramirez?
I just think that's ridiculous. You're going to pillage the farm for two players.
Dude, Ramirez is basically a Hall of Famer, and Kwan is exactly what you need.
Yeah, I get it, but there's no guarantee, so you can load up all you want. Like, no, to me, I'm not getting ridiculous here. I'd rather have some of the younger arms in the farm system, and I'd rather keep Mauricio.
Prospect hugger, you?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. Look in the mirror. You just called everybody else out for hugging them.
That's got to be the first call. Like, oh, yeah, now let's go get decent. No, Lowe or a center fielder? Sure. Come on, Ramirez is not getting traded.
He's not going to get traded. I don't think so.
All right, let's get some more in here. Hector's in Washington Heights. What's up, Hector?
What's going on? The Mets is up. That's what's up. I'm so excited, son. I'm right there with you. Listen, these number retirement ceremonies, the alumni games, all that stuff is cute. But you know what I want? I want that parade of the Canyon of Heroes. And this league is wide open. And we've been asking for David Stearns. We said, okay, now the eye is on you. What are you going to do? The team sucks with running a scoring position. What are you going to do with running a scoring position? And to me, last night, he hit a double with men on base. Or let's say he hit a single and drove in 2 runs. But guys, we can't stop here. I am not looking for that bases clearing double. I am looking for that grand slam. If you could go out there and get me a pitcher and upgrade that center field and get a bat without giving up a Vientos, maybe you trade Acuna or maybe some other minor leaguers that people don't lose their minds just because they heard of their name and they sounds good, but we don't know what the heck they're going to be, then you hit that grand slam.
Now, hold on, Heck, I got a question, Heck. When you say pitcher, you're talking about a starter, obviously, right?
A starting pitcher. Yeah, go make the move for Alcantara. Why not? He can help
But again, look, I don't even know if he would be the difference. If Alcantara were better, if there were a prominent, thank you for the call, Hector. We appreciate the energy. It's always good to hear you fired up and happy for a change. If Alcantara was at the top of his game, or forget about him, if there were somebody else that were a dominant, bona fide ace right now, that to me would be a different story saying, hey, you need this piece. This guy's in the midst of a great season, whoever it may be, go even further all in. Who's the guy? Like, it's not, to me, it's not Alcantara.
It's not Cease. I actually think Alcantara it fits that more than anybody else that you could get.
Because
you put him in Queens with 40,000 people and that energy rather than 6,000 in Miami. That guy's answering the bell.
I know, but it's still...
Same with the Bronx. He's answering the bell. He's sick. His stuff is sick.
I know that, but there's still an unknown about him, BT. I mean, what's his ERA this year? His ERA is...
It's high. It's been pretty high.
Yeah, it's 6.36.
I understand that.
The guy's got a 6.36 ERA. I know he's been better as of late, and I know he has been a great pitcher. But my point is, yes, I would take him and the potential of him. He's not a sure thing. And nobody's a sure thing, but there's more of a gamble with him, wondering what the hell is going on. He's got a 6 ERA. That's not the ace I'm talking about, like where Justin Verlander at his peak gets traded at the deadline, or Randy Johnson gets traded at the deadline.
Randy Johnson.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's that top?
Yep, or Coney even back in the day.
Whatever.
I understand that. I would agree.
Sabathia when he went to the Brewers, give me the top ace that you got to give up 4 or 5 top prospects for, like 3 top 10. Give me that ace. I'd rather part with the prospects for that. With Alcantara, you're probably going to have to give up a lot. He's under control and he's got the potential, but there's also an unknown element. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be opposed to adding another starter. I don't think it's a priority. I wanted the bullpen. As a matter of fact, we could further it and say, what do you think is more important in today's postseason with the way Major League Baseball has evolved? Like, most starters aren't going deep. You see what the Dodgers do, even with the team that's it's one arm after another out of that pen. I'm going to this guy. I'm going to this guy. That's how you win.
We've seen openers.
Yeah,
in the
postseason, right?
I mean,
it's about the bullpen.
Yeah. So they need a bat though. That's to me.
They're trying to get a center fielder,
and I think they're going to get him. I really do.
But if they get just Mullins, is that good enough?
Honestly, with the other moves, provided Soto's okay, and provided Lindor and Pete wake up from their hitting comas.
No, I'm talking about just the deadline.
I would deem that enough. I myself would.
I don't think I would. I can't go nuts about it. I'd be satisfied.
He's better than Tyrone Taylor.
But I don't want to just be satisfied. I want to be Thanksgiving Day stuffed. I want to be full. I got to take this belt off and put the sweats on.
Al Bundy, open up the pants a little bit.
I want to be napping on the couch full. And the way to me to do that, there's a couple of different ways. Robert, I think, would get me excited because he's got the potential. See, Mullins, we know what he is as a bat, right?
Yep.
He's not going to be a great bat. He's an upgrade, solid player. I'm all for it. Brandon Lowe could be a difference-making bat. If you get Lowe and Mullins, now that's to me the home run move. If you can't do that and you get Robert, I think that's got the potential to be the home run move.
I agree with that.
So that's why I'd be okay with either Robert or the combination of Lowe and, let's say, Mullins or even Bader if you need to go left.
I know we're late. Put it this way, though. To me, now I don't know that the Mets can do business for another 100 years. I'm not so sure that they ever have quite an impact like they had with Cespedes back in 2015.
Right.
But Lewis Robert, to me, in theory, potentially, is the closest, that like replication of coming in for 2 months and, Mullins is not banging 11, 12 home runs. Can Robert do it? Yeah, he could. He can also hit 170 and strike out 35% of the time, but he's on a run, and you get him in a lineup with better bats and, a real team. That's the guy for sure. They're not done. I think something's happening with our show, and we'll get into the Yankees coming up. Something better happened on our show with the Yankees or before 6. I really believe the Mets are still going for it.
BT and Sal on the Fan Warrior calls when we come back. 888-808-1019.